Hello, hopefully this little video will give you an idea on how to do the colour change within the row. I'll be showing you two ways. I finally do it the way that I find the easiest, but hopefully it will give you a rough idea on how to do it. So, you start off this row with your main colour, work so far along, change colour, and then change colour again, and then work along, change colour again, so forth, for the repeat of the pattern. So you start off the row in your main colour, so it's the light blue. So secure your stitch, do the border single crochet or double crochet, and do your initial front loop double crochets or front loop treble crochets. Then we do 3 back loop single crochets or back loop double crochets. Now there's 2 ways to do a colour change. You can either stop partway through your last stitch. The next one on will be a colour change. The reason we do it here is so that it doesn't actually show slightly later on. So I always do it one away from those 3 stitches there. So don't finish off this last stitch. Then tuck your yarn down, holding it quite tight but not too tight. Pick up your new colour. Excuse the colours here, it's just what I had to hand. So you then finish off this stitch with your new colour, pulling those 2 ends down tight. You can adjust these again afterwards and then continue on. So we do 1 single loop, back loop crochet, or double loop crochet depending. So that's the one. I obviously didn't continue that, but you can then continue on for the repeat. I find this method easier. So we go and we actually complete the stitch, complete that final stitch, pull up a loop. Now you find these 2 loops at the bottom of your stitch, put your hook in. I find this a tighter method of doing it. So just hook your loop and your yarn down, pick up your new colour, hook it over your yarn and pull through these 2 loops. I find it gives a tighter stitch. So then we continue on. So we do 1 back loop single crochet or back loop double crochet. Then we continue on. Then we pull down this loop and get rid of this. But it creates this tighter stitch. Excuse the camera wobble, my tripod decided to move. So then we do our 3 feature stitches. Now, normally you'd work into these light blue ones here, but in this case I'm asking you to work down further because otherwise we'll see these 3 little marks here. So we're working down into these loops here. You wouldn't normally do this, but so, excuse me, I will show you the stitch on my, so top of those double crochets or treble crochets there, pick up the yarn, make sure you do a slightly extended stitch. You need to do this slightly looser, otherwise your work will kind of pucker up. So remember to pull up a little bit when you do these stitches. Don't do them too tight because you're working that a little bit longer. So do those 3 stitches, and when we've now hidden this bit in here, so now do your back loop single crochet or back loop double crochet, pull up your loop, head through those 2. So you could go on further, but I change it here just to make it look, make it easier for myself. So pick up your light blue yarn. Make sure you don't pull this too tight when you pick it up, because otherwise your work will gather. So pull it through those 2 loops. Just hook your finger in, just loosen it up a little bit. Hold it tight so it doesn't tighten up as you do this stitch. Then into the next one. I actually get this wrong and go back and change this in a minute. But what I would suggest you do is pick up your working yarn, or pick up the brown yarn and just hook it in behind these stitches, just so you've got something to tighten. Also, you're not cutting this, you're going to be running it along the back of your work to your next one. So we pick up our light blue colour, pulling those stitches quite tight just to make sure that we get it right, but not too tight that we end up puckering our yarn on the back of the brown, and just follow that brown along, just catching it into these stitches. You won't be able to do this all the way along, because when you do your front post crochets, they don't really hold the yarn, so you can only do it behind the single crochets or the double crochets. But there's no point cutting it, because you'll just end with lots of ends. You can run them along, looping them like we did behind blue, and then it keeps it nice and tidy. So you repeat along to your next repeat, and then obviously pick up your brown when you do your single back loop crochets or your double back loop crochets. Change like we've done, and then just keep repeating that along the row. See, if you need any more clarification, I can help you in messages, do another little video, anything like that. But you will get something that looks a bit like this for each repeat. Just pull your ends a little bit tighter, and you can see that these extended front posts just hide all those little light blue bits, or in your case, light blue bits. And you should get something that looks like this, but hopefully with white and brown rather than blue. But these ends will run between. As I say, don't cut them, because otherwise you'll just end up with lots of ends you've got to sew in, because they will need securing. You just need to sew this one in initially, and all those loops need to be looser, just so they don't pucker the work. The back should look something like that. And yeah, as I say, any issues, please do message me. Don't be scared. Thank you.